All right guys, we're going to show you a close grip bench press, and this is something you've probably already done before, but in this case we're going to kind of coach through some of the most common mistakes. Just like any bench press setup, Gabe's going to actually get his scap pulled a little bit towards his spine, get some posterior tilt in place, and he's going to kind of flop down back to the bench. What I tell folks to do is actually line their eyes directly up under the bar and don't lose that tightness that you create as you lay back. With a close grip bench, everybody's going to kind of argue about the grip width. What we see is there's a wide variety across the populations depending on how broad your shoulders are. Gabe's a little bit of a broader guy, so he's probably going to be a little bit out. I think for most people, starting with the index fingers where the knurling meets the smooth part of the bar is a pretty good bet. So if you look at where that really puts you, maybe about 12 to 13 inches. For him, he's probably going to be a tiny bit wider for a close grip. So we're going to bring him probably around like 14. Okay, so what you'll notice is if he was to bring his hands way in, we're going to use this as a comparison, it puts his wrist out of neutral. Okay, and we want to make sure that the wrist stay in neutral, not just in terms of radial and ulnar deviation, but also in terms of keeping the elbows directly under the bar. So I think what you see a lot with close grip benches is that people go too narrow and they roll their wrist back. So we want to make sure we stay directly underneath it. Okay, so that's mistake number one. What we're going to do with a close grip bench that's extra important is always make sure that we get a handoff. The reason being, with the narrower grip, you have to lift up further off of the J hooks here. And when that happens, what you're effectively doing is you're losing that scapular control. So with him, he's going to give me the 1, 2, cue. Go ahead. 1, 2. Okay. And as we go down on each individual rep, what you're going to see is a lot of people make the mistake of keeping the elbows right in on the sides. When you're too close to the sides, you tend to drop into scapular and anterior tilt, so it's harder to maintain that good shoulder positioning. So instead with Gabe, you want to make sure he's got about a 30 to 45 degree angle to his body with his arms, and as he comes down, he's not kind of tucking in, rolling forward, and then going into that anterior glide with humerus. So last big cue I'd say for this and any other bench press variation is think about pushing yourself away from the bar. So as he comes down, he's actively pulling the bar down, not letting his wrist roll back, and he's pushing himself away.